Hey everyone, it's Boogeyman Ben. Hope everyone's doing well and everyone had a nice day today. Today is July the 10th and it is a Wednesday, so of course this is Comic Book Wednesday. And like I've done with my previous three segments of this new series, I'm going to be showcasing some new books that I picked up today, some new issues that I picked up at Flying Colors Comics where I go and have my comic saver, and I'm also going to be showcasing, for Comic Book History segment, I'm going to be showcasing a series that I collected several years back or when I was younger, like when I was a kid. Like it was a series, usually the series either I'm still collecting it or it's a series that's been discontinued. So that's what I'll be talking about today, and like always, I hope everyone enjoys this and please stay tuned. Now, the first book I picked up today was one that wasn't even in my comic saver. It was this Batman and Superman book that caught my eye just as I was ready to check out at the comic store. I think this is pretty amazing, and the artwork inside is just fantastic. The artist is Jai Lee. The guys at the comic store really just built this one up to me, but I've always been interested in seeing a Batman Superman story, and this is issue number 1. So I was really happy to pick this one up. The art is just fantastic. The glare on that, but now I haven't read this yet, so I have no idea what the story's about yet, but I was just drawn in by the art. And I'm really getting into Batman. I was into him, like I said, when I was a kid, but I just didn't, I kind of fell off the comic book stories after a while, and I was just focused on Spider-Man. And now that I've kind of grown out of Spider-Man, I'm back to Batman. But yeah, the art is just great. I just wanted to show it off a little bit. So really happy to pick this one up, and I'll let you guys know what I think in the next comic book Wednesday segment. Next one I picked up is the new Walking Dead number 112, but I still have the dilemma of I still need to catch up on these. So yeah, I haven't actually. I'm gonna just kind of not even look at this one because I need to catch up on my books, and I plan to buy those graphic novels probably beginning of next month, so that way I can read those and then I can get caught up on these other stories because I got a lot of reading to do. Next one I picked up is the new Batman, issue number 22. And I still need to get caught up on these. I'm kind of behind on my Batmans. So I just, every time a new one comes out, I just got more to read. So yeah, this one is one I'm looking forward to, but I gotta read about 4 or 5 issues prior to this to get caught up. So the last one I got is a new one I've added to my comic saver, and that's the Indestructible Hulk. The Hulk was the first comic book I ever got into as a kid because I was huge fan of the Bill Bixby TV series, and I collected the Hulk probably until I was about 12 or 13 years old, and then I got into Spider-Man and I quit collecting the Hulk, because I kind of have, like I said, I sold all my Spider-Man comics, and I don't know, it's just like with the Avengers coming out and the Incredible Hulk movie, and just that always being one of my favorite characters. I mean, I have a Hulk collection of toys right here. Some of these are really old too. Yeah, because of that, I just sort of felt like, yeah, I think I'd kind of want to revisit the book. And I don't know, this is issue number 10, so I've added it to my saver, but I'm going to try to go back and get all the issues that I'm missing. I was flipping through the art, and I really like the art. It's a little bit different, but and I also like the fact that Daredevil's in it. Yeah, just a big fan of the Hulk, and I'm glad that he's getting really popular because of the Avengers. Because I was really upset that the first Hulk movie I couldn't stand, the one that Eric Bana was in. I just didn't feel like that was the Hulk at all. But I really liked the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk movie. So yeah, it's pretty cool art in here. So I'm looking forward to reading this book and collecting it and getting caught up on the storyline. But yeah, just show off that. So really happy I got a new Incredible Hulk, or Indestructible Hulk, excuse me. So for the comic book history segment this week, I chose to focus on a series of Halloween comics featuring the character Michael Myers. The first Halloween series that ever came out was published by Chaos Comics. So the first issue came out in the year 2000, and it was intended to be a one-issue special, but eventually it would spawn 2 sequels. So then you would have, I believe in 2001, would have Halloween 2, which is called The Blackest Eyes. This is actually one of the special covers they did. And then Halloween 3, The Devil's Eyes. Now, Phil Nutman was the writer of all 3 stories. He received assistance from Daniel Farrens on the very first issue. Daniel Farrens, of course, wrote Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. David Brewer and Justin Iano worked on the illustrations. Tommy Doyle was actually the main protagonist in each issue, focusing on his attempts to kill Michael Myers. The first issue actually includes backstory on Michael's childhood, while the third picks up after the events of Halloween H20. These comics were based on Daniel Farrens' concept for Halloween 8. He had been approached by the producers to pitch a follow-up to Halloween H20. His idea was to have Tommy Doyle incarcerated in Smith's Groves for Michael Myers' crimes, only to escape and reunite with Lindsay Wallace. Together they study the journals of Dr. Loomis and find out more about Michael's childhood. The movie would have explored Michael's time in Smith's Grove and relationship with Dr. Loomis before returning to Tommy and Lindsay, who are attacked by an adult Michael Myers. Upon defeating him and removing his mask, they discover Laurie Strode, who has taken over her brother's mantle. Farrens' logic was that since Jamie Lee Curtis was contracted to cameo in Halloween 8, they should make that cameo as significant and surprising as possible. Although the studio did not follow up on his pitch, Farrens was able to tell his story in the comic book
just
form.
to show off some of the art in the books.
These are really great books, and I had hoped that they would have continued the series past the 3 issues. And if I recall correctly, it took like a year between each issue. So they would put one issue out, like they said, it initially was said that the first issue was supposed to be a one-shot, and then they ended up doing 2 more. It's a really good read. These books sold out very quickly. I don't even know how much they go for now. I love the cover for issue number 2. This was actually a special edition that I pre-ordered. It's a really more firm cover. It's got some great artwork on the inside from the original movie. A little write-up about the previous story. Glare there. Third issue was a trip because I had no idea that's how the ending was going to be. Because you got to think this issue came out before Halloween Resurrection came out. So what an interesting idea if Laurie would have turned out to be the killer. In 2003, there was a book released called One Good Scare, which is a book I don't have because it was actually released as a collectible at the Halloween convention in South Pasadena, which was the 25th anniversary of the movie. Due to the positive reception of One Good Scare, Stefan Hutchinson, who wrote the book, had hoped to use the comic as kind of a demo for getting a distribution deal, but was unable due to rights issues. What the story focused on, the main character in the comic was Lindsay Wallace, the young girl who first met Michael Myers alongside Tommy Doyle in the original 1978 movie. Hutchinson wanted to bring the character back to his roots and away from the lumbering Jason clone the sequels had made him. One Good Scare came, and because Hutchinson wanted to produce a comic book to celebrate the series' 25th anniversary, it was to be sold as a collectible only. And that's why it only was available during that 25th anniversary convention. This was another book that was available at that convention. I was able to get this one online. And as you see, it features Dr. Loomis, and it looks like Jamie Lloyd in her clown costume at the end of part 4. Which I always like this cover. Now I don't think you can even buy this anymore because I actually was unable to go to that convention. But I bought this online through the Halloween movies site. And it's a little comic book in here where this guy goes to interview Dr. Loomis in an asylum. So that's supposed to be Dr. Loomis. And it was a pretty interesting read. It really didn't have much continuity with the movies, if I recall correctly. But I thought it was interesting. And then, of course, you have some information about the movies. Like they have pictures and everything from people that played the entire series, because this was something that was given out at the actual convention. A really nice write-up on late Donald Pleasance by a bunch of people that worked with him, like Daniel Farron, John Carpenter, Dick Warlock, Charles Cyphers. So yeah, I've always liked this. That issue. So once Rob Zombie's reboot of Halloween was released in 2007, Stefan Hutchinson realized that any Halloween comics would not be contradicted by upcoming films, which allowed him to create creative freedom. Malika Akkad was approached by Devil's Due Publishing with possibility of producing a line of Halloween comics, and he and Hutchinson worked to make them a reality. Hutchinson was convinced by the strong support of One Good Scare that the comic books would have an audience. So in 2008, Stefan Hutchinson released the first issue of his new comic book, Halloween Night Dance. Night Dance was a 4-issue limited series and did not feature any characters from the movie outside of Michael Myers, of course. In the first issue, which takes place October 31st, 2000, so that it falls in between Halloween H20 and Halloween Resurrection, it follows Michael as he stalks Lisa, a 15-year-old girl with insecurities and a chronic fear of the darkness. Hutchinson explains that Night Dance was an attempt to escape the dense continuity of the film series and recreate the tone of the 1978 film. Michael becomes inexplicably fixated on Lisa, just as he did with Laurie in the original Halloween, before the sequels established that a sibling bond was actually his motivation. Now, this series was also one that sold out very quickly, but I love the artwork in it. And the thing that's interesting about it is that it doesn't take place in Haddonfield. It actually takes place in Russellville, which is a town that is mentioned in almost all of the Halloween films. I love all of the covers. They all had different covers. I forget how many different variations there were. That was a great series. In August of 2008, they would put out Halloween 30 Years of Terror. It celebrates the 30th anniversary of the Halloween franchise, and this is a one-shot, and it's a collection of short stories inspired by John Carpenter's original
In late
film.
2008, the next miniseries would be released by Devil's Due, and it was called Halloween: The First Death of Laurie Strode. As was mentioned in, Halloween H20, as well as in, Halloween 4. In Halloween 4, which, they split off the continuity of that when they made H20, but Laurie Strode was supposed to have died in a car crash. And what this story was supposed to tell is what happened between, what happened after Halloween 2 and between Halloween H20. That was one thing, that the continuity of these was that Halloweens 4, 5, and 6 did not exist, so this would be directly after the events of Halloween 2. What sucks is that they never released issue 3. So I have issues 1 and 2. Love issue 2. But they never released issue 3, and to this day, I still don't know why. It's been, 2008, it's been 5 years, and they still have not said when issue 3 is going to come out, which really sucks, because this was a really good series, a really good couple of issues here, and I never found out how it was going to conclude. And the next book that was supposed to come out was supposed to somehow explain the events of Halloween's 4, 5, and 6, that they had all come from like Tommy Doyle's imagination or something like that. Like he was a comic book writer and he had come up with these stories about Michael and things like that. And I was really looking forward to those coming out, but they've never come out. They've never said anything about that. I go to the Halloween Comics Facebook page and site, and there's still no information to this day about why they never released the third part of this or kept the series going. I don't know if it was a rights issue or what, but it's a real shame. That is the Halloween comics that I have. Like I said, I don't have One Good Scare. Maybe someday I'll be able to find that, but just wanted to share this with everyone. Hope that people found this interesting. I don't know if people are aware that there was a Halloween comics series, or a couple of series actually. But like I said, I hope they put out the third part of The First Death of Laurie Strode, but I'm starting to have my doubts since it's been 5 years almost since this series initially came out. But please tell me what you think about this. Let me know what you think about this series, and I appreciate everybody taking the time to watch, and I hope everyone has a nice evening. Take care.